More breaking news here on CBS Sports HQ. Stefon Diggs circling the wagons. Now a Buffalo Bill after the two sides come to a deal during this tampering period, a deal that will go final when the league year opens on Wednesday. But Stefon Diggs now a Buffalo Bill. Let's take a look at how the deal got done. Buffalo going to get Stefon Diggs, a 7th rounder in the upcoming draft. Minnesota with a haul of picks for Diggs. The former 5th round pick, Stefon Diggs, going to fetch a 1st rounder in April, a 5th rounder in April, a 6th rounder in April, and then a 4th rounder in the 2021 NFL draft, leaving us to wonder what is the going market for a wide receiver these days when you look at the deal through the lens of other wide receiver deals earlier on Monday. As you scratch your head a bit, we'll get to all that. But again, Stefon Diggs headed to Buffalo. Joe Musso alongside Jim Basco. We're now joined by our guys, John Breach, Will Brinson, joining the show. Fellas, we look at this deal. I mean, a big haul for Stefon Diggs. That's a ton of picks. When we try and label a winner in each of these dealings, who won this one?
I would lean with the Vikings early on because, you know, we'd heard rumblings that Stefon Diggs wanted to be traded, that he wanted a fresh start. Mainly those rumblings coming from his own Twitter feed where he was constantly complaining about a situation. You know, he no-showed last year a bunch. And I think the Vikings wanted to make it work, but ultimately they were able to fetch enough in return. I mean, this is a big haul, guys, for a guy who's under contract, even a manageable contract for Diggs. I mean, like, this is a big haul, and for Minnesota to get that at this stage of the game, to me, that labels in the winner, although certainly Josh Allen has to be happy as well.
Yeah, well, I absolutely agree with you there. The Minnesota Vikings are the huge winner. It's almost like they thought ahead that, hey, we don't want to unload Stefon Diggs, but if somebody calls and makes us an offer we can't refuse, they give us a Godfather offer, we're dumping Stefon Diggs, and that's exactly what this is. They get a 1st-round draft pick, a 5th-round draft pick, a 6th-round draft pick. They get 4 picks for Stefon Diggs, and they dump a 7th-rounder. That is an offer you can't turn down, especially Stefon Diggs has been disgruntled for the past couple years. He doesn't get along with Kirk Cousins. He pouts on the sideline. He is a guy that you do want to get rid of just based on he hurts your team chemistry. And so you look at this whole haul. This is amazing. The Vikings were able to get this. And the loser in this trade is the Houston Texans because they should absolutely be kicking themselves over what they got for DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah, hello, Bill O'Brien. You know, Joe mentioned at the start what the going rate is for a top-notch receiver. This is it, Bill O'Brien. When you look at him as a productive receiver, you just mentioned, John, the fact that he was disgruntled a little in Minnesota with regards to feeling like he didn't get the ball enough. But how about him on the football field in terms of a weapon for Josh Allen, what he brings to this Buffalo Bills offense, gentlemen?
Yeah, this is going to be one of those things where. Yeah, go ahead, Will.
Sorry, go ahead, John.
John, go ahead.
Yeah, so you have Josh Allen, 2018, his rookie year. He didn't really have anyone to throw the ball to. That's why he struggled. And now last season, we saw what happened when you give him some receivers. He had John Brown. He had Cole Beasley. Now you have 3 receivers here who are all talented. Josh Allen has never had that. The Bills are going to line up on offense with Stefon Diggs, John Brown, Cole Beasley. That's going to be tough to stop. And now one thing that Stefon Diggs may realize, though, is that the grass isn't always greener on the other side. Hey, look, you complain about Kirk Cousins, but he's pretty accurate. Now you're going to a guy that sometimes can't hit the side of a barn. Josh Allen isn't as accurate as Kirk Cousins. So, you know, Stefon Diggs might realize, hey, this might not work out for me. But I think Josh Allen, from his point of view, he is going to love this trade. And we're going to find out how good Josh Allen is now that he actually has an extremely talented receiving core.
My bad for pulling a Stefon Diggs on your answer. You were the Adam Thielen there, and I refuse to let you talk, Breach. I apologize. Look, can you blame Josh Allen for being excited? You dig? I mean, this guy's pumped up. You think about what he's going to be throwing to now. You take John Brown, you move him out of that #1 role that he was really forced to play this past year, and then you can slide him into a spot where he's going vertical more often. Remember that key drop that he had in that playoff game against the Texans, actually, if you want to take it full circle in terms of the wide receiver compensation. I think Stefon Diggs catches that ball. It allows Smokey to be more of a go route guy. It's going to allow Cole Beasley to work underneath. And I think you got a guy like Dawson Knox who can be a real red zone weapon. The Bills have a very interesting offense. If Josh Allen can take a leap forward in his 3rd year, this is a team that can be really dangerous. We already saw that they have a nice little bit of a ceiling built in, a nice little floor as well with what they did last year. And I think, too, if you're Buffalo, you look at this and you say, all right, with the 22nd overall pick, can we get Jerry Jeudy? Can we get CeeDee Lamb? We don't know if we can pull that off. But if we can give up, 22 and a couple other picks to go and get Stefon Diggs, a guy that we believe is better than maybe anybody in this class, or at least has already proven he can play at this level, then it makes sense to give up that kind of compensation.
Very exciting to see what that Buffalo offense will look like. On the other side of this one, the Vikings now with a bevy of picks to go along with what they already were looking at. What do you think, Will? We'll go your way first. What do you think that they'll target now with a bit of a chest of picks to work with?
Well, I can guarantee you that since Mike Zimmer's still in charge, they will go after a cornerback at some point in the 1st round. Of course, Xavier Rhodes is a free agent, Trey Waynes as well. They have Mike Hughes there, who they drafted out of UCF as a 1st-round pick. They love to target cornerbacks. Mike Zimmer is excellent at evaluating them. He's turned a bunch of guys into Pro Bowlers, and I think you will see them try to replenish a secondary that's sort of been dinged up. I mean, it's really interesting because we thought the Vikings were going to go into 2020 as a make or break year with Kirk Cousins, other pieces, maybe even the coaching staff. And now moving Diggs, extending Cousins on Monday, getting another draft pick in the 1st round, you do feel like they can sort of add to the core. Rick Spielman, you look at his faults as a GM, really, his only struggles have been trying to find quarterbacks in the draft. He's done he went out and got Cousins, who's played well for them, and he's done a really good job identifying other positions in the draft. And I think giving him 2 picks here, you can see him come out with a nice replenishing haul for that defense.
Hey, Will, I'll start with you on this one. With regards to, I believe he's heading into the final year of his contract, which was a 5-year, $72 million deal. The fact that they gave up so much draft compensation, how imperative is it for the Buffalo Bills to sign him to an extension beyond the coming season?
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's one of those things where if you're Buffalo, you're committing to a player that you want to keep around. The cap numbers, I don't think, or I think Diggs has more than 1 year left on his deal, though. I think he's got a couple of years because he signed it in 2018 with that extension in the offseason. He should have a pretty decent cap number. And so if you're Buffalo, you can actually, maybe Diggs wants to get an additional, like Hopkins. He's probably going to want to get paid more. He probably feels disrespected by his financial numbers and the market around him. So maybe he goes out and asks for a bigger deal, but maybe Buffalo is willing to do it because they have the cap space. They want to commit to the player. They want to show that they're all in on Stefon Diggs. That wouldn't be surprising at all. I think that this is a team that's saying, hey, look, you're our guy for the future. We want you to grow with our quarterback.
Yeah, and Stefon Diggs, I think he is under contract through the 2023 season. And that's probably why the Vikings were willing to, that's why the Bills were willing to give up this compensation to land him, because it is almost like getting a contract that you feel comfortable with, number one, and also you have him for the next 4 seasons. This isn't, say, a Jalen Ramsey situation where the Rams gave up this haul and now they have to worry about losing him. You have this guy under contract for the next 4 years, so now you have your offensive nucleus all set up. You have Josh Allen, your quarterback of the future. You have John Brown. You have Cole Beasley. And you have Stefon Diggs for at least 4 more years. I don't think that he's going to make many he's going to start complaining about his contract because, as Will said, he did just get a contract extension. And for the Vikings, all of a sudden, you have 2 first-round picks at 22 and 25. And Will mentioned how they need a defensive side of the ball and how, Mike Zimmer loves to go after defensive backs, but they also need to upgrade their offensive line. We saw that game in the playoffs. They got mauled by the 49ers. Kirk Cousins couldn't do anything because he only had about 2 seconds to throw the ball. Every time he dropped back, Well, now, you know what? Mike Zimmer can take that defensive back that he loves to take in the first round, and they can also get that offensive lineman they're going to need to beef up that starting O-line and protect Kirk Cousins. So I think this is a good match for both sides, but I do think overall the Bills probably got the the Vikings probably got the slightly better end of this trade.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.